Hey yogis, today I'm going to take you through Sun Salutation A and B. We're going to take a bit more time as we go through these things to focus on alignment. Sun Salutation A and B are great models for so many of the asana. They're like a kind of foundation sequence, and learning how to get aligned properly in these asana sequences will help you in all of your practice. So we're going to start at the top of our mats, bringing feet together. You always want to honor where your knees are at in practice. So just take a little bend of the knees, and maybe you need to have your toes slightly apart or your heels slightly apart. You might be perfectly lined up, or your joints in your legs might be lined up, and you might have toes directly pointing forwards, but just honor where your knees are. I like to have my toes out a tiny bit, palms by the side, and shoulders away from your ears, crown growing up towards the ceiling. And then start bringing lots of awareness to the feet. So really feel the feet melting into your mat, but at the same time you want to strongly suck the arches of the feet up. So it's like the four corners of your feet are pressing down, but the arches are pulling up. Engage through the inner seam of your leg. So you get a connection going from the arches of your foot all the way up into your pelvic floor. Gently drawing the pelvic floor up. Gently drawing the belly button in, so it's getting into bandhas, Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. You're creating a lock, a kind of muscular and energetic lock that keeps you strong through the core in your practice. Keep your chest lifting without letting the ribs flare out, so knitting the ribs in. And just take a moment to get fully present, to feel into your body, to find this engagement through the legs, through the core. Keep gently firming your leg muscles to the bone. And then inhale, sweep your hands round, high and up. Bring your palms together in Urdhva Namaskar, upward prayer. Look to your thumbs and reach those fingertips high. Keep trying to knit the ribs in. So if you can, avoid taking a back bend here. Just think length. Exhale and hinge at your hips, fold down, bringing your hands down through heart center, and bring your palms towards the floor. It might be fingertips that get there, maybe the palms reach, maybe you need to bend your knees in order to do that, and that's absolutely fine. Next, we find halfway flat back position. So your hands can come onto your shins, and you stretch the crown of your head away from your tailbone, trying to lengthen out the spine in a horizontal way. We look up to the eyebrows, but try not to tilt the head up. To do this, keep reaching the crown away, and then just turn your eyes towards your third eye, towards the eyebrows. Take a deep inhale here, and then we're going to melt the hands back down towards the mat, bending the knees if we need to. Step back into plank position. So your plank might be a high plank, and that might feel good for you, or you might have your knees down. Wherever you are, you want to really firmly push away from the mat, so you don't slump into the shoulder blades, but you protract them, you move them away from each other, wrapping them around the back and down the sides. Reach the crown of your head away and tuck your tailbone underneath you. If your feet are lifted, the tailbone is still tucked and your hips are at the same height as your shoulders, making a boomerang shape, a shallow V with your body. Inhale here and exhale lower to the bottom of your press up. So often in practice, and it's completely normal, everyone does it, we lower all the way down to the mat, or perhaps collapse a little down towards the mat. But what we want to try and do really is hover. So I suggest and try and get people in class to hover. So I'm always cueing hover as long as you can. Point your elbows behind you and hover. So you don't come all the way down to the mat. This is the way that you build up the strength in your shoulder girdle. If you always release fully down to the mat, it will be hard to build up the strength to hover. So try and hover. And if that means that the bottom of your push-up position is just a little bend in your elbows, that's fine. Do that and then come into your cobra or your up dog. Over time, if you challenge yourself, you'll be able to take these little bends lower and lower, and so that one day your chest is almost down, and then you can come into your up dog or cobra. Then you can start doing it from full plank position. If you're attempting it from full plank position, then inhale at the top and exhale, lower down as far as you can until you feel you're going to drop, and then bring the knees down, and then finish with the knees down, still hovering and finding your up dog or your cobra afterwards. In time, you'll develop the strength to move all the way down into Chaturanga Dandasana, hovering off the mat, and then finding your up dog straight away, keeping the thighs off the floor. But these are all just different places to be in, so find the way that works right for you and move through that. Wherever you are after your up dog or your cobra, tuck your toes and find your way into downward facing dog. As we take down dog, we often want to straighten the back of the legs, and immediately people are pedaling their feet, and that's absolutely fine as long as you make the movements really smooth and mindful and part of your practice. But actually the most important component of dog is to be pushing into the knuckles of your forefinger, middle finger, rolling your biceps towards each other and pushing the chest back towards the thighs. And it might be that in order to get nice openness through the back, you have a bend in your knees, and that's absolutely fine. I would always favour that over having the legs straight and the back domed. So feel into your body. You can always bend the knees, and then as you start to straighten them, just check in with what happens. If as you straighten your knees, your shoulders kind of stay in the same place, you're good to go. If as you start to straighten your knees, you feel the back rising, the shoulders coming forward, then just keep a wee bend in your knees. Length will develop in the back of your legs over time if you're patient. Breathe deeply. Keep a steady drishti on your knees. And then when we're ready to move forward, we look to the top of the mat and inhale. You can stroll your feet or take a big step to the top of the mat. Find your Ardha Uttanasana, your flat back position, hands on your shins, or you might have fingertips on floor for flat back. Long through the neck, looking up to your eyebrows, and then melt in any amount. Bend your knees if you need to. Inhale, stand up tall again, coming out the way we came in. Urdhva Namaskar, hands in prayer, and exhale, hands down through heart center and back to Samastihiti. Okay, Sun Salutation B. Bring your hands down, find Samastihiti, that steady balance, that engagement through the feet. Inhale, drop the hips, sweep the fingertips low then high, and find Utkatasana, chair pose. Palms come together, tuck the pelvis underneath you and keep your chest lifted up. Take the inhale here, and then exhale, keeping the knees bent, bring the hands down through heart center. Bring your chest onto your thighs, bring your palms to the floor, and then straighten your legs up any amount. So they might come straight, they might stay a little bent, and that's fine. Inhale, come to your halfway flat back position, fingertips on floor or hands to shins, up long in the back of the neck, look to your eyebrows. Exhale, plant your palms and step back into plank. Your plank, high or low, and low to the bottom of your press up, hovering. Inhale, find upward facing dog or cobra. So cobra is like up dog in that you're finding a back bend with your palms on the floor, but you can have your arms bent any amount. So you can find always in practice the degree of bend that feels good for you. Up dog tends to be a little more intense. Arms are straight, shoulders back and away from me. It's just like cobra, but we press the top of the feet into the floor and lift the thighs up. Okay, whether you're in cobra or up dog, tuck your toes and find your way into downward facing dog. Take a moment here. And then we step the right foot forward up behind the right wrist. Pivot the left heel down so you've got your train tracks position. Keeping the right knee hovering over the ankle, we rise up with strength and purpose, bringing the palms together, finding warrior one just for a breath. Both hip points facing forward. So you're inhaling as you come up, and as you plant the palms and take your vinyasa, you're exhaling. So you step back and exhale to the bottom of your press up. Inhale, find upward facing dog or cobra. tuck your toes and find downward facing dog. We're going to come into warrior one on the other side again. So step the left foot behind the left wrist or toward that place. Take the right toe slightly to the side, pivot the heel down, and again rise up. So we'll stay in warrior one for a moment. Our warrior one should have hips facing forward. The knee hovers over the ankle and you press into the left big toe. Stomp into the back foot so the back leg is as straight as you can make it, and you're on train tracks with your right toes facing the side slightly, almost facing the front. Those hips stay straight, and then you reach your arms up, trying not to back bend here. You want to be thinking length, knitting the ribs in, shoulders away from ears, taking your inhale, and then planting the palms and taking an exhale as you step back. You ride that exhale to the bottom of your press up. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, tuck toes or roll over them for downward facing dog. Again, focusing on the back first and the openness in the shoulder girdle, smoothing out the breath, and then seeing what space there is in the legs. When we're ready to come out, we look forward, walk, step, or if it's in your practice, you might take a little hop forward and find halfway flat back position. Look to your eyebrows, hands on shins or fingertips to floor. Exhale, melt in, bend your knees if you need to here. Inhale, sit those hips down and find Utkatasana again. Chair pose, tucking the hips underneath you, stretching the arms away, shoulders away from ears. And exhale, Samastihiti.